Good morning. I am Macy Forsyth. I am the Director of Children's Faith Development here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Mankato. I am serving as Worship Associate today, this morning alongside our minister, Reverend Diana McLean. And it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Mankato. All of you, whether joining us in person or on Zoom, are welcome in this time that we make sacred together. We extend an especially warm welcome to you if this is your first time attending one of our worship services. We appreciate that it can be difficult to cross the threshold of a new church for the first time, whether in person or online. Sunday morning is a team effort, and we are grateful for all those who help make it happen. If you're attending by Zoom today, you're welcome to stay after the service to visit together. For those attending in person, we have a luncheon in the fellowship hall after worship. Thank you to Lee Gansky and to the team of volunteers who make our monthly luncheons happen. We acknowledge that our fellowship meets on the traditional homelands of the Dakota peoples. In continuing to understand our shared history, accepting responsibility for reparations, and building relationships in the here and now, we want to go beyond land acknowledgement as we seek to be good relatives. We have a few brief announcements this morning. Our worship service is multi-generational. There is nursery care today, but no children's chapel, and children are invited to remain in the sanctuary for the full service. On September 22nd, instead of worship here at the fellowship, we are invited to attend Dave Braveheart's memorial at the Mikado Wachipi, or Mankato Powwow, as some of you might know it as, where our congregation will be honored by Dave's family. We hope many of you will attend. On Wednesday, September 25th at 6:30 p.m., we are hosting an event called On Preserving Our Democracy with Minnesota Secretary of State Steve Simon. See the weekly email for more details. And I will say we do have childcare scheduled for that event, so if you or anyone you know has young children and wants to attend, we will have a couple caregivers here in the basement to spend time with your children. And now let us begin. Together, let us kindle a flame symbolizing our co-creation of sacred space at home and in this place, made sacred by years of love. If you are with us on Zoom, please write in the chat that a chalice is lit on your street. And please say the words with me from the pew cards or the slide. We are a welcoming people of diverse beliefs who commit to nourish the spirit, broaden the mind, nurture the earth, build community. May this flame we kindle remind us to strive today and every day to love beyond belief.
Our call to worship this morning is Learning to Love This World by my colleague, the Reverend Molly Hausch-Gordon. We gather together this morning tenderly, like drops of dew on a leaf of grass, hopefully, like gathered raindrops in a cloud, gleefully, like water rushing in a stream to the sea, deeply, like groundwater pulled up from a well. We gather from every direction for another year of growth and depth, another year of companionship and hope, another year of learning to love this world. We gather like the water that joins us across all of creation, the water that connects us within and without, merging and flowing across the entire world. Come, let us worship together. And in that spirit, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In, and the words will also be on the slide.
Well, right here at the beginning of our service this week, we do have our backpack blessing ritual. Today's ritual's words are from Erica Hewitt and Beth Monolin. I did adapt 2 readings, combine them together, so here we go. We carry bags with us throughout the week for many reasons. Whether your bag is a backpack that carries academic supplies, a bag that carries a laptop, a purse that carries necessities, or any other kind of bag, if you have it with you and you feel comfortable and you want to have it blessed, we welcome you to please bring it forward or send it with a helper and place it up here. Reverend Diana and I have demonstrated. We have a backpack for my son and her academic backpack. She has brought her backpack that she's using for her current doctoral studies to demonstrate where you might place your backpack or bag to be blessed. For this blessing then, we're going to add something to your bag, but don't worry, it won't add any weight and it won't take up any room. Would any of you like to have some of our congregation's love to take with you to school, to work, or on your travels? If you feel love here on Sundays, wouldn't you like to know that our love is with you on the other days? Yeah. So let's do that now. I'm going to invite you to share a little playful action. Please bundle up some love from wherever you're storing it. You might rummage through your pockets or look up your sleeves. And make a nice little pillow of love as if you're making an invisible snowball. And are you ready? Yes. Okay, so go. And you throw it out to the whole congregation. So those of you who are still holding your bags, hopefully it was received. And hopefully our bags up here are feeling the love too. Now, your bag might not look or feel any different, but the next time you use it, I hope you'll recall that we've added our blessings. Remember that the Spirit of life is with you at school or at work. This congregation cares about what happens to you at school or work, and if you need more love and care, you can ask. In this new church year, may we unpack the heavy weight of stories that tell us that we are unworthy and unlovable. May we remember that each of us carry inside a spark of the divine. May we carry kindness, gentleness, and hope that hold us through even the hardest days and the most daunting risks. May we carry the weight of memory that reminds us of who we are and the weight of spirit that reminds us of who we are still becoming. May we carry the seed of knowledge that teaches us that improvement and growth are not linear and individualistic, but are cyclical and communal. May we carry the wisdom to seek rest and connection, to lean into mutual care. May we carry the certain belief that when we have the patterns of thinking and behaving that harm ourselves and others, we can seek resources that will help us move towards healing. May we carry the knowledge that happiness and success take many shapes, and one of those shapes is purpose. May we carry purpose lightly, trusting that it changes and evolves and surprises us. May we carry curiosity, wonder, and the ability to be surprised. This year, may we carry space for all our flaws, our longings, and our love, remembering that the truly daring adventure of life is not to be better, best, but to show up wholly, authentically, lovingly as ourselves. May we carry these prayers and carry each other into the new year. And now, Reverend Diana will go ahead and attach the blessings while we sing We Give Thanks. Hymn number, yes, and I will mention Deb and Barb did help me create these. Each backpack blessing says the word love on it. And the additional backpack blessings that do not get attached to these bags will be in the entry following service if anyone wants to still grab one. They're just nice little wooden tags, and again, they don't add much weight at all. They're very light. So, so now we sing hymn number 1010. And is that that would be the gray hymnal, right? Or teal hymnal. Teal hymnal. I was feeling a little rusty, thank you. So, hymn number 1010, we give thanks. Generosity is one of the spiritual qualities we aspire to and one of the practices we nurture in this community. With our offering, we give our resources to support the work of this church. We know that giving financially is only one of the ways we support that work. We do it too with our time and our talents. All three are necessary for the vital work we do, for each other, and for the wider community. And for our second collection today, I will explain that every other month we take up a second collection each Sunday to support one of our community partners, organizations who are in alignment with our values. In keeping with our September theme of invitation, this month's second collection will go to Mankato Youth Place, affectionately known as My Place, which provides a nurturing environment that empowers youth to build the confidence, knowledge, and skills needed to reach their full potential. For both the regular and second collections, you can give in person as baskets are brought around, or online using either the QR code on your Zoom screen and on the Pew card, or the giving link on our UUFM webpage. If you are here in person but give online, as many of you do, we invite you to touch the basket as it passes you in a small ritual of recognition of your financial commitment to the congregation. Please give as generously as you are able. And here's the offertory.
As Macy mentioned earlier, today is one of our multi-generational services where there's nursery care, but all the rest of us are gathered together. And some of you have heard me say this before, but some of my favorite worship services are those when we gather as a full multi-generational community as we have this morning. A congregation always feels most complete to me when the children and youth are present with us. Many of you have heard me say that one of the things that I cherish about religious community is that it is one of the few places left in our society that are truly multi-generational. It is a place where people of all ages come together to make and sustain a beloved community in which we all give and receive precious gifts to and from each other. One of the ways that we will be doing that this congregational year is that Macy and I have decided to experiment with having the first Sunday of each month, as we're kicking off a new Soul Matters theme, be an all-ages worship service that is an introduction to that theme for everybody. There will, during all of those services, be nursery care, but not children's faith development class, no children's chapel, and our children will be invited to remain with us for the full service on those days. Now, I especially enjoy the all-ages services that mark a special time of year, whether that's Christmas or Easter, major celebrations that, of course, we share with other faith traditions, or whether it's for one of our own special Unitarian Universalist celebrations like the water ceremony in the fall that we're honoring today, or flower ceremony in the spring. For those of you not yet familiar with it, the water ceremony or water ritual is often part of what we call an in-gathering service, and it is a gathering in, a return to this building and this group of people to begin a new congregational year after a summer in which many of us have been going various different directions. In the fall, we gather together again to reconnect with this beloved community and with each other. Which begs a deeper question. Why do we gather, not just this Sunday, but every Sunday? One of the easiest answers is that we gather because we like each other. We have friends here. Last year in this service, which was my first service with you all, I spoke about this being a faith home, our spiritual family, so to speak. And I said that day that just like it's important for families to sit down together at dinner and reconnect after days spent apart at work or school, it's important for us to reconnect to each other, both through this annual ritual after we've been apart to varying degrees over the summer, though some of us have been here all along, and also on Sunday mornings throughout the year. This connection is important for those new to our community, as well as those who have been part of it for years, perhaps decades, perhaps even since birth. It is often poignant for the new members and friends among us, those of you for whom today is the first time you will participate in this ritual with us. And if today is one of your first times here, I extend a special welcome to you and hope that you will find a home with us. There is a comfort that comes from finding a community of people with values in common, whether or not the details of our personal theologies are exactly a match. A community where we feel welcomed from our first moments in the building, where we are welcome even when we haven't lived up to our own expectations, where we are welcomed back even after long absences. That sense of coming home when arriving at church can be what keeps our youth coming back, even when they have many competing activities available to them. It's what brings some Unitarian Universalist young adults back to our congregations, even after time away for college or in the busyness of their first years in the workforce after graduation. They may or may not return to the church of their childhoods, but many of them return to Unitarian Universalist congregations elsewhere. We come home time and again to where our spirits feel welcome and loved. However, if we are gathering only for that comfort, only for that sense of belonging and home, we are missing out on much of what it means to be a faith community, and specifically a Unitarian Universalist faith community. We could find comfort and belonging elsewhere, in social groups we belong to, whether informal groups of friends or neighbors or family, or established groups like sports teams, book clubs, or hiking groups. I hope this is a place and a community where you find comfort and ease. However, this is ideally also a place where we are both challenged and encouraged to be our best selves, perhaps even to be better, stronger, or braver than we believe we can be. We gather not only to have our own worth and dignity affirmed, but to make clear to others that they have worth and dignity, and to show to the world a faith that insists that every one of us, and by us I mean the whole human family, that every one of us is sacred. We gather not only to receive justice, equity, and compassion from our relationships with each other, but to be reminded to offer justice, equity, and compassion to others, particularly to those who experience marginalization or oppression. We gather not only to pursue our own spiritual growth, but to encourage it in each other, to learn from each other, and to accept and even cherish our differences, theological as well as those based in identity. We gather not only to search for our own truth and meaning, but to learn how to make that search responsibly so that we are doing no harm to others, and to teach others in all stages of life to do the same. We gather not only because we value a faith in which we make decisions democratically and based on our own consciences, but to be part of a faith that insists on the importance of the democratic process in our wider society, especially when it is imperiled. We gather because peace, liberty, and justice for all are an ideal that has yet to be fully attained, and we want to be part of a movement towards that ideal, even if we do not see it fully realized in our own lifetimes. We gather not only to celebrate the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part, but to offer our concrete efforts to protect and defend that web of life. Those are still far from the only reasons we gather. Those are perhaps some of the most commonly shared reasons among us, the reasons that are most likely to hold true for the majority of us who have chosen this as our faith community. We also each gather here with this community for personal reasons, because we come wanting something that we find here, or because we come looking for a place to offer a gift that is perhaps not fully valued in other parts of our lives or our society. In a little while, when we perform the water ritual, I'll be asking you to name a reason that you gather here with this community in this particular time. Unless you prefer to add your water in silence, I always give you the option to not speak if that's not your thing. However you came here today, however many times you have been here before, and why ever you come each time that you come, know that you are welcome here, that we are glad to gather you in with us as part of this community of faithful seekers and faithful riskers. Amen, and blessed be. And we will begin the gathering of our waters with the bowl already holding some of the water saved from last year's water communion, which I see as a way of signifying that we carry our past with us into the new congregational year, and that we are accompanied by those who were here a year ago and are no longer with us. They live on in this, our sacred water, and also in our hearts. Before we begin to add our water, I invite us to listen to this prayer by Renee Zemeles-Ruchatsky, which connects the history of this ritual to the present and future of our faith. It was at a gathering of white women when this gathering of the waters first came to pass. white women in a second wave of gender self-awareness, awakening, connecting, making new meaning, shifting the old ethos. The solidarity of these white women was reflected in the waters each brought, waters that became a liquid harmony of each sweet voice and intention. Today, we gather as a community of humans in a new wave of gender and racial awareness, awakening, connecting, making new meaning, shifting the old ethos. Today, we seek more than solidarity and harmony. We seek inclusion. We seek mutuality. We seek reconciliation. We seek justice for all people. Today, may our gathering of the waters reflect the gathering of our collective courage in service of the grace and love that is promised by our liberal faith. In light of that prayer, I invite us each to be especially attentive to how we perform this ritual today, knowing that if we keep it at a surface level, it can become sort of a travelogue of where our water came from, which is fun, but I want us to go deeper. And as the prayer points out, we are seeking inclusion. So I ask that just for the moment, you set aside where the water came from and even what it meant to you when you collected it. And I'm inviting us to share those stories with each other during the luncheon or online in Zoom, because I know that you love to hear each other's stories, and I love to hear them too. But today, in worship in this ritual, I'm asking us to go deeper, to seek more than solidarity and harmony, as that prayer just said, to be more inclusive. And so what I'd like us each to do is to consider that this water in this ritual actually represents each one of us returning to this beloved faith community to begin a new year's ministry together. And so I invite us each to consider what we hope to bring to this community in the year ahead. What gift are you making of yourself this year? Think of a word or a phrase that sums that up for you. Perhaps love, or justice, or joy, or community. It can also be that you this year are coming with a need. Maybe that need is companionship. Maybe that need is to be seen as your whole self. In this community, we both come with needs and meet each other's needs. And so those phrases or words are what I ask you to share at the microphone next to the water as you pour your water into the bowl. You may also, as always, opt to add your water in silence. And if you came without water this morning, either because this is your first time joining us, or you didn't know today was water service, or you've done what I've done many times over the years and left your water at home on your dining room table by accident, there are 2 vessels with water on either side of the bowl, and you're welcome to pour a small amount in. Just pour a little so that there's more for the other people who also need to use that water. And again, especially if you are new here, please know that I'm sincere in my offer that you need not speak if you do not want to. So I will begin, and then I'll invite Macy to add water after me, and then you can come up as you feel ready. If you're on Zoom, we invite you to type your name and your word or phrase into the chat, and we will check in with Kat when the in the room part has finished and make sure that we include your words in our ritual as well. So my word for this year, as I'm shifting from 3/4 time to full time serving you, is deepened connection.
I will echo what we often say here in worship, which is nurture community.
Deepening roots.
The freedom to explore my spirituality.
curiosity,
the welcoming inclusion, even if you are saying something diverse to others.
Love and respect for diversity.
Love and inclusion. Kindness and compassion.
Supporting the democratic process.
Love and freedom.
Love and happiness.
Hope. Hope and love. Bravery.
Granularity and support for all.
Presence.
Hope.
Fellowship and comfort.
Equity and inclusion.
A deeper sense of community.
Authentic compassion. Regeneration.
Joy.
Giving it just another minute in case there's anybody else who wanted to come up and pour water in. Okay. So this bowl now contains our Unitarian Universalist version of holy water. It is made holy by our gathering it together, by our blessing it with our love, and by the way that it symbolizes our beloved community. We, in this faith, see each life as sacred, and thus one of the most sacred things that we can do is share our lives with each other. In the year ahead, perhaps some of this water will be used in blessings, the dedication of new children into the congregation, or blessings requested by those who are ill or dying. Next fall, we will gather again, and our ritual will begin again with the remainder or a portion of the remainder from the water today. The circle continues on and on, just as this congregation does, longer than any one of us will be a part of it. It will be here for us and for those who join us and those who follow us to find a home, a refuge, a place where we and they can join together in the service of something larger than ourselves. May it be so.
Thanks so much to Nancy, Mark, the choir, and the collective effort to bring joy in that moment. That was great. So now we'll extinguish our chalice. So as Reverend Diana extinguishes the sanctuary chalice, please extinguish your chalice at home or say the words with me here in person. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
As we prepare to leave our time of shared worship, I offer you these words from my friend and colleague, Reverend Cale Rice. All rivers run to the sea. It starts with a drop, then a trickle, a burble, a rush of water bubbling toward its destination, and finally the wide, endless sea. All rivers run to the sea. Today you brought water, poured it into a common bowl. Though our experiences have differed, these waters mingle, signifying our common humanity. Today, you came and shared in this sacred community. May you depart this sacred space, hearts filled with hope for new beginnings, a fresh start. Go forth, but return to this community, where rivers of tears may be shed, where dry souls are watered, where your joy bubbles, where your life cup overflows, where deep in your spirit you have found in this place a home. All rivers run to the sea. May we go forth today, but not until after the luncheon, knowing that we will gather again and again through the months and years ahead. May we always welcome all who gather with us, inviting them to partake of and contribute to the many gifts of this congregation. May that be our practice and our prayer. I now invite you to rise in body or spirit and turn toward each other for our singing benediction, blessing each other with these words, knowing that we are each a blessing to each other.